Hello pumpkins. How are we today? Welcome to Sweepcast. So, I did record a little bit earlier, but I don't think I'm going to post it because, I'll be honest, I got a little carried away. And I would like you listening to me to be a slightly more relaxing experience. Anyway, I didn't get as much sleep as I would have hoped last night. I think about 5.5 hours. And then this morning, for the first time, I tried a class that has opened up at a new gym in town, and it combines like interval work on the treadmill, so like sprints and sled pushes and sådana typ of thing, and some work on the floor like body weight exercises, weights, whole body weighted and calisthenic based workout. And then you go from like the floor for 10 exercises and then onto the treadmill for 10 different versions of running on treadmill stuff, and then you do 2 on each side and it lasts like 40 minutes each way, and it was dope. But I cannot be trusted for fitness classes, guys. I'll tell you that. I know that I have to fast until 3, and it's nearly 3 now. It's like 2:30. And I have to make it to 3, and at 6:30 this morning, I was absolutely going completely bonkers on a treadmill and in a circuits class. And I can't be trusted to do a fitness class and not completely lose my mind. It's a problem, but it's the way I've always been, and I don't know why that is. But if you put me in front of a punch bag on a fitness class or a bag blast, or you put me in a circuit class, I will just go absolutely bananas, and I'll pay for it after. But I'm glad to be paying for it. I've made it through quite nicely. I'm very hungry, but I just know the food is going to taste amazing. And I'm pretty sure we're at a new low body weight. I'm going to predict that I'm going to be sat at around 81.2. But we'll see. We'll see if I'm correct. So obviously I had three PTs today, so that's nice and very fun. Mostly boxing work and just like long combinations and fast punching and getting people to push against the wall of resistance and tension in the shoulders that comes up when you start throwing combinations of 10, 12, 13 plus punches. And people say it doesn't have a benefit. Look, I'm telling you it does, guys. Even if that benefit is just having a blast, right? Not everything, guys, has to serve an immediate, tangible, measurable, scientifically provable benefit. Sometimes just doing stuff that you really enjoy is just the key ingredient, you know? That's it. What's the secret ingredient? Po from, what's his name? The panda that does Kung Fu. The secret ingredient is nothing, mate. That's it. It's beautiful. It's profound. But I was talking to one of my clients is a businessman. He's a self-employed businessman. And one of my clients is a student, and they're also working. And we were talking about, one of them is younger than me by a few years, and one of them is older than me by, we'll say at least 10 years. And both agreed in the one way or another that work, we just discussed the balance of work to life, you know? And for me, how I judge whether I want to work or not, or if someone asks me for a PT, or to do a class on a certain day with a group, you know, it comes down to this. Let's say I get paid $100 for an hour to do a personal training session, right? If I am tired, or if I'm sick, or if I'm just sad or in a bad mood, or I just am excited to do something else, I just think, would I pay $100 to sit on the sofa? Like if I had to work, if I was made to work, or if I was working shift work, if they said for $100 you can sit on the sofa and relax all afternoon, would you pay $100? And if the answer is yes, then guess what? I'm not doing that work. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. And I think it's very important that we establish those boundaries for ourselves early. Like, I don't have the privilege of hindsight on this. So this is something I'm betting a portion of my career on, a portion of my financial stability on, and a portion of my future on, a portion of my health. Because that's my philosophy. You know, I don't want to spend my life working for a life that I'm not able to enjoy when I get the opportunity. There's so many afternoons. What are these imaginary afternoons in the future that I'm going to enjoy sipping piña colada on the beach when I could die in a car crash tomorrow? God forbid, please don't. But these afternoons I'm working so hard for in the future aren't promised to me, but this afternoon now, right now, this instant, while I'm talking to you, I'm sweeping the gym. And I actually want to sweep the gym. You know, I've thought about getting a cleaner in. And I thought, I would love to have a cleaner to, you know, clean the bathrooms and stuff like that, but I think even if they cleaned the mats, I'd still sweep them. I just like doing it. There's some things I don't want to get rid of in my life, and there's some things I don't want to take on. It's like that guy that owns the company in America. He's a Christian man, and therefore refuses to open his business on Sundays. I don't know, I don't want to say the company just in case it's incorrect, but they calculated that he would be worth millions more, billions more if he'd have just opened on a Sunday. And he says, no, I'm not doing that. And that, all those millions and all those billions spanned across that man's life could never buy back, could never purchase back, could never financially compensate him for giving up his principles. Can't buy back that. And I think if I get to the end of my life, and I hope and pray that I have kids and grandkids, and if I'd missed every birthday, every weekend, every quiet afternoon, every hyttetur, every bit of Norwegian beauty, you know, all those wonderful opportunities that this country provides, the peace of the water, the beauty of the mountains, the crunch of a quick lunch with that family. And they said, you didn't have it, but we have a time machine. Would you give all the money that you have to go back and do it one more time? They were like, yeah. I would sleep on the streets. I know that. I can look back from that imaginary future and know that I would sleep on the streets for that, you know? Because I have regrets in my life. I have regrets in my life, and if someone said, would you give X, Y, Z to have this opportunity, to have this moment back again, would you? Would you have paid a little bit more attention? Would you have worked a little bit harder? Would you have ran a little bit further? Would you have listened a little bit more keenly? Would you have sent that person a message before it was too late? You know? And what would you pay to buy that moment? I know some of you would empty your savings account to buy back some moments that you'll never get again. Another hug with your gran, you know, that you didn't go to visit when you should. Another chuckle with that partner that you're not with anymore. Another afternoon rollerblading or skating with that friend that's not around, you know, or other stuff. I wish I would have just soaked up the moment when I was in the boxing ring and not been so petrified. So that's really what I've been thinking about. I'm just getting a bit more comfortable doing a bit less when the time calls for it. But I digest. I really do like talking while I do stuff. I usually just listen to things and it just bounces around in my head and I don't really come to any solid conclusion. But then when I talk and you guys listen for some reason, these are the moments where I get to know myself. Because I'm alone a lot, guys. I don't get much time. And I'm very bad at talking to people, you know. Some people I admire so much because they can be so open and they're so willing to talk about their feelings. You know, I used to be a lot more willing to talk about my feelings, and I suppose in a way I am talking about my feelings now, but I'm just talking about the fact that I can't talk about them. And there's guys out there that are willingly not talking about their feelings when they can, they're just choosing not to. And let me tell you guys, if that's you, if you know that you want to and you know that you can, if you don't, that valve will rust. And then one day, it won't work anymore. And bits of you that need fresh air and bits of you that need pressure release will strangle themselves. And the water in the well will turn to poison. And it will choke your heart. And you'll wish one day that you did it sooner. So I know that was a bit morbid, not morbid, but I know that was a bit emo or a bit maybe a bit heavy, but it's true, guys. It's absolutely true. I really wish that I could cry more, but I'm not very good at that anymore. And that's one thing I think is confusing, because we've got all these people saying that we should be super open and all these people saying that we should never be open. And we're forgetting that yin and yang has existed for a long time, guys. The black in the white and the white in the black. The complementary. The touch of femininity that makes you aware how masculine that person is. And that touch of masculinity, that just little delicate touch of ferocity and aggression in the feminine that makes you realize just how much of a woman she really is. You know, it's a beautiful thing when you think about it. And if you just try and be white or just try and be black on that side of things, then it doesn't do anyone any favors whatsoever. So speak to people more. But yeah, moving on. I'm going to try and get a list together to send to this guy as soon as I can, because I've been just up and down like a blimmin' yo-yo today, and I haven't had the chance to sit down and really put my thoughts together about what equipment I want in the room. And I need to measure it. So I need to make sure that it all fits. So I'm going to send him a message and say, here's my thoughts equipment-wise. Oh, am I losing you pumpkins? Come on. Then I'm going to send that away to him, get a quote on a price. And then I have to chase up some clients that are running out of credits on their personal training sessions. So I say, you know, should we carry on? Because I have a great time coaching. And I do have a great time coaching everybody I coach. So that's fantastic for me. And here's the deal, guys. If I didn't have a great time coaching them, I wouldn't ask them if they wanted to carry on. And this links back to what I just said. So, is this X amount of money worth leading the horse to water and watching it not drink? Which is a huge problem people go through in their lives when they've got a parent they wish started caring for their health because they're getting older now, and maybe they're working too much, or they're drinking too much, or they're not exercising enough, and they just, here's the water, Dad, here's the water, Mum, would you just drink it? And they don't. Or they have a student who's very talented athlete, just a natural gunslinger, just a killer, and they can see, you know, they look into the future and they can see the belt wrapped around this potential fighter's waist and all the glory it means for them. Not the fighter, but for that coach itself, you know, or maybe even for the fighter itself. They just want that potential to come out, and they'll just do everything to get it out. But here's the thing, guys, if they won't, you can't. And if you want people to be better, you're just going to have to give them the opportunity, and if they don't take it, they're never going to take it because you force them to. All right? If you've given the sales pitch of a lifetime and they still say no, I'd rather wait for the health scare. I'd rather wait until I'm a few years older and I regret not hammering it when I was younger and I had the free time and energy. Well, that's their choice, guys. Our regrets do not spur on other people, you know? It's for them to take. It's for them to make the choice. And I call this, when it's like in a student term, it's the same as simping, really, you know? You're simping for the student. You're simping, you know, in a sense, if you just translate it across, like you simp for a chick, or you're simping for the dude, for the ladies that are watching. You're simping for the dude. You're giving the energy away that is disproportionate for the energy you're getting back. The interest you're showing is disproportionate to the interest you're getting back. And it's just one way for you to start thinking negatively about yourself as a person, as a coach, as a son, as a daughter, as a girlfriend or boyfriend, and it's just not worth it, guys. You know? This is what I was talking about. Was it yesterday when I said when it comes to people, what do we not do, guys, when it comes to people? Kick down the door. We don't kick down the door, guys. And that's something I wish I knew a lot longer ago. Because maybe you think that right now, you're watching a role model sweep his gym. And I assure you guys, I'm not a role model at all. And if ever I was an instruction manual for how to live your life, it would be done in the opposite. You know? One of my favorite lyrics, one of my favorite bands, From cradle to grave, it has been a walk of shame. This might be a bit strong, but I've certainly made more mistakes. I've done more things wrong when it counts than I've done right. I've messed so much up, guys. I'm not a role model, and that's I think that's one reason. Like, if I say that you shouldn't do something, it's not because I'm that guy, because everybody knows that person that's like, you shouldn't do this, you should do this, and it's just like, yeah, well, look at you, Mr. Never Made a Mistake. You know, well, you're looking at Mr. Never Done It Right. And now I'm in my era of trying my best to do it right. We're going to see, because this has just started now, the last couple of years, guys. You know, so you're about to see what happens when someone decides to try and do as much as they can right as possible and not willingly destroy their life. So this is, what is this, episode 9? When episode 150's out, or episode 365, let's see, man. You know, the proof will be in the pudding. You'll be like, all right, he's done this, and I've watched him do it all. I've watched him stick to this routine. I've watched him do his honest best. I've watched him made some mistakes, sure. But look at how different the gym looks, for example. Look at how different he looks, for example. And you'll get to see it. Because I promise you, I'll tell you, when I make some mistakes, like if I goof up at the gym, or if I train too hard and injure myself, or if I spend some money I shouldn't have spent, or maybe I miscalculate something and I get a bit twitchy money-wise, then I'm gonna let you know, guys. I mean, I'm not gonna let you in all the details, because that would be silly, but I'm definitely gonna say, and you're definitely gonna see how long it takes to recover from stuff. But that would be cool, right? I think that's cool. Because then for the wonderful people that are giving me their time watching this, if it works for me, Mr. Never Done It Right, then it will work for you. And then you can tell me all about it. All right, guys, I'm going to keep cleaning. I think that's been enough for now. I haven't got a watch on, but I'm going to eat soon. Can't wait. See you, pumpkins. I know I said 81.2, but I have a feeling it's 80.8. So let's find out together. Oh! So close. Guys, so is it just me, or when you're eating a banana, it's amazing, like the taste is fantastic and you don't like notice the smell. But has anyone else sort of got the ick with the smell of someone else eating a banana? Leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear them, all three of you. Because I can't stand the smell of someone eating a banana within 2 or 3 kilometers of me. Just wrapped up sparring, had boxing as well. Great energy in the gym. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. The sparring was cool. I'm knackered. My energy is definitely low. I can feel the lack of optimal sleep, I will say. And so all I have to report, really, one of my lads who was in for sparring is fasting for Ramadan, so he was feeling it, and it was nice to go and get him his first drink of water for the day. That was quite a touching moment. I don't know. It was a I don't know why it was a moving moment, but it was a nice moment to be able to give him that. And we had a lot of different people in the gym today, boxers, southpaws, kickboxers, taekwondoers, Thai boxers. It was a big mix, and we had a few ladies visit us from another gym, and they're a great bunch. Really hard-working ladies, always in a great mood, and they send it as well. So I love that. So Trondheim Kickboxing Club with Coach Geril. She is indeed a boss, and she has raised some powerful female fighters. And we had a young lad in from another gym, a Thai boxer, so that was nice to have him in as well. Hopefully see more of him sharpening up his Thai boxing at NCA. So now really the weekend begins, so we know what that means. It means I've got about 4 more hours work to do, and then Saturday, come on, please drive faster than 20 kilometers under the speed limit. If you could, that would make my day. 4 more hours of personal training tomorrow. I've got a personal training with a family, that's really cool. Father, 2 sons, mother, twin boys as well. Awesome. Really hard working, always in a great mood, just splendid people. And then I've got a husband and wife in, 2 individual hours. And then I've got a young lad in for the last hour of the day doing some boxing. And he is a very smart young man as well. And it's very interesting to talk to him. He's only like 13, you know, but he's a super sharp kid. And yeah, he works hard. So you work hard, it's gonna be a good session. Simple as that. And then that's it really. Going to 2 of my closest friends' baptism for their newborn baby. I can't wait. I cannot wait to see that. I can't wait to be there. Can't wait to experience it. Never been to a baptism before, other than, you know, at church where they've done some baptisms at a public ceremony. But it's not like I wasn't there for someone that I know whose kid is getting baptized. So this is my first official baptism. I'm really excited for it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that happen for the first time. And that will be on Sunday as well, so that means I can have a little bit of cake. Just a little bit though, let's not go crazy. But I will do a little bit of just sending texts and messages out, make sure everything's in the right place. Matchmaking is proceeding for April 26th, so I think we've got 4 fights matched. We've got Oscar matched for a debut in Muay Thai, 60 kilos. We've got Michael fighting 75 kilo B class, and we've got Jacob fighting 71 kilo C class, and we've got Gustav fighting 75 kilo C class. Very exciting. We haven't fought in Norway for many years. I don't want to go too much into the details of why, but we've had some problems fighting in Norway. We've had some problems getting established, but now the wonderful grassroots team led by Judith has set up a fight team, and we've managed to get ourselves the first competition in Norway. I think we've had, since we won 2 Norwegian championships, perhaps back as far as 2021. That was pretty much the start of my downhill slide. So that's a date I remember. So really looking forward to that. Just got to be training hard and get through and enjoy the process. One thing I would recommend to people that are having their first fights is it doesn't matter about winning or losing. Why would you let amateur results define you as a person? If an amateur result defines you as a person, unless, I mean, why letting the result of someone else watching your fight and saying this happened or this didn't happen, letting that define you as a person would be a crazy thing to do. The result of someone else's approval or someone else's opinion of you being the definition of you would be a very damaging thing to your psyche and to your life and the direction of your life. It's much better to let it define you as a person, not whether you win or lose. Not whether you win or lose, but how you win or lose. What you do before you win or lose, and what you do after you win or lose, right? Because then you'll see if it's about win or lose and how you handle everything that happens before, during, and after, then you'll see it's nothing to do with the result, and it is how you approach life and how you approach challenges. And that is a much better thing to measure yourself against, you know. Most of the fights that I remember personally as a coach have been losses, you know. The first one I think of when I think about the most memorable fights is one of my old fighters called Jürgen, or Jimmy. He jumped in for a teammate who had broken his rib, or not broken his rib, but cracked a rib somehow in sparring, just had a little accident and couldn't compete. And on 3 days' notice, Jimmy jumped in for his teammate, and he was just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll take the opportunity. You know, he jumped on the opportunity. He wasn't as prepared as most people want to be, especially you see these guys in MMA, they're like, oh, if I don't have a 12-week fight camp, then blah, blah, blah. If I don't get all this VIP treatment, if I don't go this one-to-one, then I can't fight because everything needs to revolve around me for a certain period of time. But Jimmy's just like, fight? Yeah, sure, man. I'll jump in and save the team. And just had an absolute war with a very talented guy, and came up short, but just made the guy earn every piece of that win. And that to me defines Jimmy as a person to me, not the win or the loss. I couldn't care less about the win or the loss, not then and not now and not ever. What I care about is Jimmy's the type of guy that jumped in for a teammate, took the chance to be in the ring and test his mettle against someone that was very good at Thai boxing and had prepared for the fight and gave it everything he had, put it all out there, and didn't think, oh, this fight's going a bit wrong, it's going a bit sideways, I'm just gonna throw the towel in on myself. No, to the very final bell. Amazing. So think about what you let define you, all right? And then if you need to adjust it, then I recommend you do adjust it, because it will make your life a lot better if you've got the wrong value system in place for how you think of yourself. Anyway, I've really got to eat. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I don't know, leave, do they have pineapple emojis? Just leave like a pineapple emoji or something, just to let me know you got there, and that's fantastic. Probably won't speak to you until Monday, so have a lovely weekend, guys. Peace be with you guys. What? Oh.